guys. I'm sorry, I think it's like my third or fourth week late in a row as I eat my hair. Happy Wednesday, happy live. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys are all fantastic and well. I'm at a different scenery for those of you who have watched before. My house is actually for sale right now, and they picked to do the home inspection. Hi, Justin, between 5:30 and 8:30, and lives are at 6, hence why I'm here. So thank you, Justin, who just popped on, who is allowing me to use his living room. So thank you, and again, apologies for being late. It is almost the 1st of October, which means the first of every month we give away $1,000. So if you have not nominated somebody, you're welcome to do so. Before I was going to cut it off the night before, but I'm not anymore. So if you guys still wanted to nominate somebody, or a business, or a friend, or a family member, or a neighbor, or anybody you like at Shoppers Drug Mart, at LCBO, at your favorite restaurant, or what have you, you're more than welcome to do so. Um, how dare they, Melissa? I know. Hi, Phil. Hi, Scotty. How are you? Happy Wednesday. Thank you. I feel kind of shiny here. I look shiny in their lights. I love their accent wall. Some fabulous Scotty and Justin and Tyler helped. But I will get into a question first, okay? I know I'm rambling a lot, so I will do a question. So the first question comes from Max in Aurora. I don't know why it got dark all of a sudden. Um, so Max from Aurora said, my girlfriend is really good at decorating and we flipped a few houses. Do you think real estate is an avenue she should get into, and how would she go about doing that? Thank you, Max, for asking. I don't know how interested she's about it since you're asking for her, but I will answer for you. It depends what she does for a living now. Like maybe she could study on the side and maybe she could kind of integrate it. Somebody was asking me the other day about massage therapy because that's what I used to do and how long I did it for and stuff, and I overlapped a lot just because it took a while to build it up and build up that database and actually make money at it. So maybe she has a job she can keep and then get into it. But I don't really know like what her true passions are. Maybe she just likes decorating and she should be an interior designer or decorator or stager. Or maybe she really likes the human aspect of it and she wants to help families get into homes or like commercial wise and help businesses get into properties or stuff. So I can't really answer that fully. And she would do that through the Ontario Real Estate Association. So she would do, her residential or her commercial. There's different levels and she has to pick like appraisal, law, property management, and so forth. Hi, Romy, how are you? Hi, Phil. So it kind of just depends, but that is my answer to your question. So I am going to do first some happy news and just some miscellaneous stuff before I do my normal real estate weekly update. Hi, Marco. So since the pandemic, they did a survey, but they've done a bunch. But 6 out of 10 people said they enjoy and appreciate nature more than they did before the pandemic. I almost said hi, Carla, but I see it's just it's your picture that has Carla in it. But hello. So 58% of people surveyed said that they definitely took nature for granted before COVID, and 3/4 of people actually said they feel a boost in their mood when they go out into, into the fresh air, into the woods and so forth, which they've been doing more since the pandemic. Hi, Christina. I saw your bubble pop up, but Carla is in the forefront of your bubble, so that's what I was saying hi to Carla, but hello to you as well. I said that already, 66% of people are doing more outdoor activities, and 6 out of 10 people say that they've explored their community more since COVID, myself included. So whether you've gone to like a park that you've never gone to, or just a lake or a river or found somewhere, or walk through, I don't know, some hiking trail or so forth, people are just exploring more, and I'm doing that as well, seeing places that I'm like, this is only 45 minutes from my house, and I never knew that. So I'm not the only one doing that. 52% of people said they've gone fishing since COVID. I am not one of those. 27% of people say they actually go outside and get out into nature to help with their mental health. I used to go to the gym for mental health, and I I would say a combination of both. I like the gym or outside for mental health. 32% of more people are definitely doing more outside stuff because of COVID, and 69% of people said they will continue to do outside stuff even after COVID. Hi, Maddie. Congratulations on your new house. The top activities that people have been doing outside is fishing, camping, hiking, running, flying a kite. I have not done that in decades. Gardening, rock climbing, outside, not inside. Kayaking, and going to the beach. So that is that. But again, I do like random news before I do the real estate, but I will still do the real estate. I promise. Okay, I think I have a question next. So, no, I don't have a question next. I lied. I have a thing. So there's a couple in Utah, and they always get a Hawaiian pizza from Papa John's, and they always request the same delivery guy. And what is his name? It's a different name, Derlin. And so Derlin is 89 years old, and he always comes and delivers their pizza. And they basically like love his enthusiasm, and he's always like outgoing and like charismatic and whatever. So they've been videotaping him, and they've been posting it on TikTok, and they have 53,000 followers. And most people were like, we love his enthusiasm, but why is he working at 89? So this couple decided to say like, hey, since everybody keeps commenting on why is he still working, why don't, we set up an account, and you guys can donate money if you want to give him a tip. So we'll give him like a big tip just to be like, thanks for being so awesome. So they set up this account, and they thought they might get like $200 or $300, and they got $12,069. So they went to Derlin's house and gave him the check, and obviously he cried and he was super excited. He's a former like ski champion, but he lives on his own, and with his like social security or whatever you call that, wasn't enough to live. So he's like working 30 hours a week delivering pizza, and now he has 12,000 extra dollars. So I just thought that was cute that a family took into their hands to help out the 89-year-old delivery man. The next question comes from Bobby and Barry. Bobby says, my wife and I have been in our home in the East End for 3 years. The previous owner had done a number of renovations, including lighting fixtures. They're not our style, but do you think we'd get our money out if we redid them? Thank you, Bobby, for asking. If you are selling your house, you're not going to get the money out. If you did the lighting fixtures and they were like ghetto 1970s and whatever, say you spent maybe $4,000 on your lighting fixtures, you might get $1,000 to $2,000 of that back. But if they're already nice but just not your style, people aren't going to be like, oh, I like this style that you picked, because they might have liked the original style that you ripped out. So you're not going to get that money back. If you just want to do it for your own purpose, cool. If you want to spend $8,000 or whatever, those are some really expensive lights, but usually they're like $200 to $600 each. But say you have 10 lights in your house or whatever, so that's why I said around $3,000. If you're expecting to spend $3,000 and get 5 or 7 or 10 or something, you're not going to. Hi, Dad. So that is my answer for you. But thank you, Bobby, for asking. Dad, you don't recognize the background. I'm at Justin and Tyler's house because there's a home inspection on my house right now. Okay, so now the next thing before real estate, there's only one more thing before real estate, is a man that is dressing up as Batman. And he is basically, I have to find it on here, driving in his Batmobile, which is not really his Batmobile. Hi, Jill. Hi, Ishka. It's his white SUV, and he is helping feed the homeless. So every day he fills up his car with hot food, and he has like all these hot, cold coolers or whatever, and he's delivering food to the homeless. And he just doesn't want recognition for it, so he's wearing the mask, and then he covers his mouth because of COVID. So I just thought that was cool. I forget if I said hi to Jill. I think I did. But that was my last news thing before real estate. There's one more question, and then I will do the real estate. So the next question is from Monica in Elmvale. And Monica said, I love that you talk about people going after their own dreams and not living through someone else and having regrets at the end of their life. I have a lot of passions and things I want to do, but I'm also a single mom of 4 and find it hard timing wise to do much else. How can I go after these other avenues and ambitions when I barely have time to go to the bathroom? Thank you, Monica, for asking. Hi, Karen. Thank you for asking. And props to you and hats off to you for raising your kids on your own. That's amazing, and I'm sure quite the task. I'm sure your kids will think you're a strong powerhouse and really look up to you, even if they don't now when they're an adult, more so. So kudos to you for that. Timing wise, I would just say, you can do things with them. So I have a friend, for example, and she does like these workout things, and she has like these pre-powder drinks and stuff, but basically she literally like works out and her kids are like running around in the video, and she's doing squats like holding the toddler, and she's doing like push-ups with like another kid on her back and stuff, so she's including them in it. I have another friend that like paints things, and she has like her kids help. So if you can include them, then obviously they're doing something fun, whether they like working out or not, but doing painting or art or whatever. If it's something you can't really include them in, maybe you can just allot a time, and you're like, this is mom's time from 8 to 10, or from 10 to midnight if they need to be sleeping, or from 1 to 3 on a Saturday afternoon or whatever, and they watch a movie or something. If you can just allot a time, if you just say, oh, when I get time, you probably won't get any time. But if you can allot a time, or let them join in with you, I think that would be helpful. But thank you for asking, and I'm glad you're passionate about so many things, and looking forward to going after your dreams and stuff and not living through other people. So that's awesome and very courageous of you. So I applaud you for that. So now we are getting into real estate. Okay. So normally I have these in order, but it is the way it goes when I haven't had a lot of time to sort it. So what I did was the last 2 weeks. So the last 2 weeks in Simcoe County, and I look at different things every week, but I looked at 2019 in the last 2 weeks as opposed to 2020. So 2019, the amount of new listings in the last 2 weeks, there was 189. And then this year, in the past 2 weeks, there was 293. So before, when I was doing these, we were having less houses listed but more sold than last year, but now we're having more sold and listed. So things are changing. So again, 189 houses last year listed at the exact same 2 week period, and this year 293, and that is 55% higher, I like that better. Hi, Steve. Higher than last year. And then the amount that's sold, so last year 149 houses sold in that 2 week span, and this year 271 sold, which is up 84.3%. And the average sales price last year in that 2 week span was $495 and change. I don't do the change. And this year it was $601, so $495 to $601 in Simcoe County, which divides from Bradford to Orillia. So that's up 21.7%. Okay. And then in the last week alone, hi Rodney, in the last week alone, of new listings in 2019, there was 152. In 2020, there was 302, so 152, 302. That was up 98.7%. And then the amount of ones that sold in 2019 was 165. And if somebody says, well, how can 152 list and 165 sell? It's just because there was 152 new listings, but there was still other listings that were still sitting there that hadn't sold, okay? So that's how that works. So 165 sold last year in the exact same week, and then this year in the exact same week, 247 sold. So 165 versus 247, which is 49.7% higher sold this year. So it's awesome. And last year, the average sales price was $494, and this year, the same week was $601, which is up 21.6%. Okay, so that's basically the last 2 weeks. Then September as a whole, so there was 74.5% more listings in September of 2020 than September of 2019. And 66% more sold in September of 2020, and the average sales price was up 21.6%, and it was 601 and change. But if you want to know, it was 601,745 in September. Okay, 601,745 was the average sales price in Simcoe County up 21.6% from the average sales price in 2019. Okay, lots of numbers, I know, sorry. So what are some things a lot of people have written in to me over the weeks that they should do to their property if they are thinking of selling it? So I wouldn't do anything that takes longer than a day to 3, to be honest. If you do something that takes longer than that, you're, one, taking too long, but 2, you're missing the boat of right now there's really short inventory, lack of inventory. So if you're like, oh, I'll do this, the contractor's not available for 3 weeks, I'm going to do this, the contractor's not available for 8 weeks or whatever, you could possibly be missing the boat. Obviously, I'm not psychic and I don't know when the boat's going to leave, but right now it is a seller's market. There's no inventory. So right now you need to, if you're planning on listing, list now. Don't wait for 6-8 weeks because I don't know what it's going to be in 6-8 weeks, but right now it's hot. And there's no inventory. So anything that you can do in 1 to 3 days. So, painting your front door, painting your shed, getting your driveway resealed, painting your garage if it's wood, even like leaves out of the eaves trough. Nobody will see that right when they come up, but if they do a home inspection, they'll see that you take care of it, which helps get the water away from the house. I said resealing the driveway, even like gardens as you come up to the front of the house. Don't add gardens, but if you have gardens, take off the dead leaves, do mulch and so forth, just so they get that first curb appeal. So again, anything in the in 1 to 3 days that you can do. Clean your windows, declutter. The thrift stores are now open, so if you can declutter your space, that is really good. So people, I know that they're buying the house and not your stuff, but to be honest, they look at your stuff. So you don't want them like going around and looking at your knickknacks and whatever. You want them looking and being like, this is an amazing big room, or this is a gorgeous kitchen, or look at this countertop, not looking at all your whatever appliances on your countertop, or looking at all the crap on your floor in your junk room that's never got unpacked or whatever since you moved in 10 years ago. They want to see, okay, this is an office, this is a gym, this is a spare room. So declutter as much as you can. Okay. Another thing is, I was going to do what's happened in the last 7 days of Barrie. So in the last 7 days in freehold, I divided into freehold and condo. Actually, no, I'm going to do 24 hours first and then 7 days. So in the last 24 hours in Barrie freehold, there has been 16 new listings. 8 of them have conditionally sold. 14 sold firm, and 55 people got their keys. That is a lot in the last 24 hours. It's not in the last week, 24 hours, especially considering it's a Tuesday. Like, how many people close on a Tuesday? Not very many. So for 55 people to sell, get their keys in the last 24 hours is really big. But in the last 7 days in Barrie, there has been 51 new listings. One came back on the market, which means the deal fell apart. Somebody didn't get financing or inspection or something. 42 have conditionally sold. 66 have sold firm. 116 people got their keys to their houses. Hi, Shirley. And then condos in the last 7 days, there's been 12 new listings. 20 sold conditional. Again, if somebody says, if there's only 12 new, how can 20 sell? It's because there were still other ones that were not new. Okay. 20 sold, 15 people got their keys. So that's that. I don't like to do it all continuously. Hi, Dwayne. Dwayne is getting some things painted on his house. He is doing the little things that help. Putting insulation in your house, for example, does not help. Paint does help. So good job, Dwayne and Nicole. So back to real estate stuff. So what is the most popular right now is detached houses. And buyers can actually afford 24% more now than they could 2 years ago. And if people are like, well, how does that make sense if you keep saying all the prices are going up? And it makes sense because the interest rates are down. Okay, so they can afford 24% more because the interest rates are down. Okay, and then Moody's Analytics, which does a whole bunch of real estate analyzing all the time, and they say they project this, and they predict this, and so forth. So they predict that the biggest boom in real estate and the highest increase in price is going to be the outskirts of the city. Okay, so as people continue to leave the city, they're gonna be looking for yards. They're going to be looking for more space for their family. the cheaper markets, they called it. So they're just looking for cheaper markets. So they want to get out of the million to $1,300,000, $1,400,000, etc. of Toronto and get to price points of like 500,000 to 700,000 because they think they won the lottery there, because they don't have to buy something for $1,200,000 and put 200,000 into it. They can buy something for 700 and it's stunning, and they'd have to spend like 2.8 or whatever in Toronto to get that. Don't quote me on that 2.8 because I don't know the Toronto market that well. But something along those lines. Okay, so Moody's Analytics thinks that that's going to be the biggest market, is the cheaper areas, within that radius of Toronto. Okay, which is awesome for myself and all those in Simcoe County. And they said even though that there's 1.1 million less jobs right now than in January, they're still expecting that the average house price is still going to go up. And that is because of the lack of inventory and the low interest rates. Okay. I'm going to do more statistics numbers because I don't like them all at once, but I still have more real estate stuff. So ESSA, so Dwayne, if you're still watching, Dwayne is in ESSA. So there's been 7 new listings in the last 7 days, 6 conditionally sold, 7 people got keys. And again, if people are like, well, if 6 sold, how did 7 get keys? Well, because these 7 could have bought in June or whatever, okay? So that's why. And then in Innisfil, in the last 7 days, there has been 12 new listings, 9 conditionally sold, 19 people sold firm, and 29 people got their keys. And then in Oro, in the last 7 days, there's been 11 new listings, 6 went conditional, 22 sold, 22 people got their keys. And in Springwater, in the last 7 days, there has been 11 new listings, 12 people sold conditionally, 7 people sold firm, and 20 people got their keys. Okay? Okay. And then back to real estate stuff. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So as some of you know, the 5-year fixed rate is super low, like record low. It's below 2% for the 5-year fix, which is amazing. And Moody Analytics did another prediction, which they thought who is going to be hurt the most real estate wise during COVID, and even the next 2 to 3 years. And they said, that the markets are still going to go up, so people are not going to be hurt. But who is, if they had to pinpoint somebody, it's going to be condos. And they're saying condo wise, just because people are they realize in COVID, okay, I want a yard, I want a shed, I want somewhere for my kids to play, I want somewhere to have a home office, I want somewhere to have a home gym, I want to be able to homeschool my kids or what have you. So they're saying that they will be hurt the most. However, they said there will still be a market for it, whether people's mobility wise and they want that elevator or they're elderly or what have you. But they said also for people that are trying to save for their first, home, and they might be in the smallest possible thing they can be in to save to get that money for the down payment for their home. So there'll still be people in apartments or people that don't want the maintenance or what have you. So it's not going to be like ghost town in condos or anything, okay? And the national average, so not just in Simcoe, but all of Canada, went up 18.5% total thus far. And the average sales price is now $586 and change in Canada, okay? And then something that happened after Tuesday, so was the first U.S. debate. I don't talk about politics or necessarily like politics, but after the debate on Tuesday, the amount of people that searched move to Canada was skyrocketed. Hi, Sean. Congratulations on your second grandbaby. Skyrocketed, but the borders are obviously closed, so the Americans can't come and move to Canada. But the amount of people after, like I said, the Tuesday debate was crazy. Google, I forget what it said, how much it was up, but the amount of people that said move to Canada, how to live in Canada, etc., really skyrocketed on Twitter, on Instagram, and so forth. People were just tweeting everywhere about moving to Canada. So that was just a random side note for you. Okay, so I have a question again. Where is this one? Okay, from Jackson and Sydney and Barry. I love your lives and really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to do these. You're welcome. My question is, I have a steady job and I have been here for 9 years, but have never liked it and always just did it because of the pay. We want to buy a house, but it's so toxic where I work. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. Do you think I should suck it up until we get a house? Thank you for asking. Hi, Anders. How are you? Um, I don't know where he lives right now, but I met him in Portugal or Croatia, somewhere. But I don't know where he lives. I think Germany. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Jackson and Sydney, for asking. I don't know which of you is at the job that you hate, but I absolutely would keep it until you get a house. The amount of people that quit their job either right before they buy a house or between buying a house and then taking possession is really high. And sometimes the lender can pull their financing. And people will be like, oh, I kept the job until, we firmed up on finance inspection for the 5 year or 5 days. And then I quit after, but the lender or the underwriter or whoever still might call the day before closing, 2 days before closing, a week before closing. And now they're like, oh, she doesn't have the job she said she has. And then they pull their financing. So do not do that. Hi, Josh. Hi, Margie. Do not do that. Do not quit your job until after you have the house, okay? 1000% don't do it. If you're not planning on getting a house for 4 years, sure, go get another job and have a new job for 3.5 years or 4 years or whatever. But if you're getting a job in the near future, not a job, house, I would definitely keep your job and suck it up. I apologize, okay? Oh, you're cute, Josh. Thank you. Team, not Prosecco, Jessica Prosecco. That's Josh's alter ego. So thank you, Jackson and Sydney, for asking. On a side note, because I said at the beginning and there's different people on at different times, if anybody wants to nominate anybody, tomorrow is our $1,000 giveaway. They don't have to have done anything crazy special. It's not like, oh, they raised that $12,000 or they made all these masks or they gave all this time to charity or whatever. You can nominate anybody for any reason as long as they're over the age of 18. However, I did have somebody before ask if you weren't over the age of 18, and I said I'd make an exception. So if they're not over the age of 18 but you think they deserve it, you can email them or email in as well. So you just have to take a video just like this with your phone and send it to info@crippshomes.com. Again, info@crippshomes.com, and say who you want to win and why you think they're deserving, okay? Okay. Hi, Ted. I hope you're well. I have a new background. You guys have lots of backgrounds like this, but this is at Justin's house, not in Tyler's. I did not do the wall yet. Okay, so back to stuff. There was a lady, and she grew up in the foster system, and basically never was adopted, never whatever. And then when high school was done, she was out of the system and ended up being homeless. And she did have a car. And she liked this one grocery store, so she would always park at this grocery store. She'd move her car around at night because she didn't want them to see it was always in the same spot. So she'd move it, and she'd always go into the grocery store in the day, sometimes buying food if she had money and sometimes not. But they always just really appreciated her enthusiasm. And as she started to get to know the people that worked there and so forth, one of them found out that she'd like to work there. And they helped her with her resume, and she ended up getting a job. And then a month later, she got a promotion. And then a few months later, she was able to afford an apartment, but she couldn't afford furniture. So her boss ended up putting a post on Facebook, and they got over 200 responses. So people gave couches and dishes and blenders and irons and all that kind of stuff. But if she had gone into the place and been like, I have such bad luck, or the world hates me, or why does this always happen to me, whatever, but she was always upbeat regardless of the situation she was in. And then, all these people outpoured their love for her, and she got a job and a house and furniture and so forth. So I like that. Hi, Caitlin. It is Sweet Scotty. Just seeing who's on. So that was cute. So now we have another question. So this one is from Josh in Bradford. I want to get into the market and have been thinking about it more and more lately, but I have no idea how I'll ever save 20%. It says, that's so much money. Is there any way around that? So, hi, Margie. So, Josh, thank you for asking. I'm not sure where you heard the 20% because you don't have to put 20%. Some people do, so maybe you do. But they'll look at three main things. So your job. So they're going to say, okay, we want your NOA of the last 3 years. What have you been making? If you've been in school for 2.5 years and you've just been making good money 6 months, then that's not ideal. Or if you've jumped around jobs 15 times in the last 3 years, they're not going to like that either. They're also going to look at your debt to service ratio. So do you make $200 and spend $250 and rack up your credit card, or do you make $200 and you spend $80 or so forth? So they're going to look at that, and they're going to look at your credit score. Is your credit score 420? Is it 670? Is it 816? What is it? So they're going to look at, those are the main three things they're going to look at. So they might say you need 20% down if you have some kind of not so good situations in some of those categories. But you can put 5% down, but you kind of have to be good at all of them, okay? Even if you're not good at all of them, you could get a B lender. So that's for an A lender. And that an A lender is somebody that you can see driving down the street, like Royal Bank, Scotia, Bank of Montreal, TD, etc. A B lender is like Equitable or somebody like that. They're going to have higher rates. So instead of like 1.6 to 2.3, they're going to have 4 to 5.5. And then private lenders. So you might say, screw it, I'll just get a private lender. And private lenders are going to be like 8 to 12%, okay? So you don't necessarily have to have 20% down unless you have maybe some nicks against your score on some of them. Then you might have to, but a lot of people put 5% down. And there's also help for first-time buyers for your land transfer tax. So the government will give $4,000 if you're buying a $5 million house. They're not going to give you land transfer tax or all of that, but they'll give you $4,000, and they are fighting to make that up to $6,000. And they're actually fighting to have no land transfer tax for a 6-month period, but that has not been approved yet. Okay, but thank you for asking. Okay, next we have this thing called Pandemic of Love. So there's a lady named Shelly, and what Shelly did was she noticed, in the beginning of COVID, specifically it happened to be March 14th when she did this, she noticed a lot of people were down and out on their luck and like worried about a lot of things, obviously. And so she made a video and she just said, I'm going to start this new program. And she said, for people in need, message me. And for anybody who has access or can help out, message me. And she literally posted it on Instagram, and she went to bed. And when she woke up, she had 400 and change people that said they wanted things, and over 500 people that said they could give things. So obviously that math worked out. She didn't have like 1,000 people wanting things and only 2 people giving things. So that was amazing. So she continued to do that, and it has since spread. So other people have started to do the exact same thing she has, and it's spread to 16 different countries as well. So they're doing it in Australia, they're doing it in Iceland, they're doing it in Europe, and so forth. And to date, she has been given to give to these people $39.4 million. And this was, again, just March 14th, and she posted it on her Instagram, which is crazy. $39.4 million. Again, it's called Pandemic of Love. So it's just people giving things. If they say, hey, I can give, $500 towards food for somebody or whatever. That's what has happened with Shelly. And there's over 850 people that have volunteered to help with all of this, because she's lined up over 300,000 families to help. So obviously it's a lot for one person to do. So that is Pandemic of Love, and that was Shelly who started that in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So I thought that was amazing. I do need to thesaurus amazing, because I say amazing all the time. That's incredible, wonderful, stunning, fantastic. And now I have another question from Kim in Snow Valley. Yes, Josh, I agree. Spread love and light. Hi, Jacqueline. How are you? Sorry I didn't see you jump on. Hope you guys are well. So Kim in Snow Valley, I heard last month you say something about the deadline for the $1,000 the night before the giveaway. Is that a thing, or is it too late to enter somebody? That, sorry, Kim, I know you wrote in before. I just actually mentioned about that. So yeah, you can still enter somebody in the $1,000 giveaway. You could enter 20 people from now to midnight, or you could enter 1 or whatever. So yes, I was going to do the deadline the night before, but you can still do it up to tonight. And tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, we're going to go and knock on somebody's door and give them a check for $1,000. Last month, a lady named Ashley won in Barrie. The month before, a fellow in Collingwood, one named Brian. He was nominated by his girlfriend. Ashley was nominated by somebody at work. So you can nominate whoever you want, whoever you think is deserving and could use $1,000. Okay. But thank you for asking. Okay, another about a mask is a fellow that is dressing like superheroes, and he's been going to different hospitals and so forth and giving gifts to kids because his mom passed away, who was obviously not a child, but passed away from cancer, and that was just his way. He said he feels like when he gives to kids, it's like an adrenaline to him and a boost to him, and he just loves seeing their smiles and their energy and so forth. So that's what he's been doing, and he's helped over or given to over 11,000 kids throughout Canada and 50 of the states, and he's even been to Alaska and Hawaii. So I thought that was lovely. Anyways, that is all from me from this different location. Wednesday Facebook Live. Hope you guys are amazing, and as Josh said, spread love and light. Love you all. Have a great night.